welcome to InstructorLive. My name is Sam, and today we're going to be doing Pilates with bands. If you haven't tuned in for the past few weeks, we've been using what we call a resistance band. You can get these online. There's more information on the website of where to get these and a little bit more about them. If you don't have one, don't worry, you can still do the exercises without them. But this is just a really good piece of equipment for getting feedback from certain muscles and movements, and as well for support and strengthening. So just remember, I can't see you. You can only see me. If you have any questions, just type them in during the session, or if you have any shout outs, or if there's any particular exercise or areas of the body you'd like to work, communicate with me, and we can get the party started, as they'd like to say. I found that was very cheesy. I apologize. Okay, right, let's get into a nice standing position to start. Feet in parallel, hip distance apart, and we're just going to walk through those feet, getting a bit of movement into the toes and into those calves as well. And then we're going to take that up to come down, just getting the blood pumping a little bit. It's getting cold now, so the feet are going to start getting a little bit colder than usual, so it's always good to get them moving. And then releasing back down. Let's stretch out the front of the thighs, knees together, little push of the pelvis forward. Just stretching through those thighs, getting the blood flowing. And then changing over to the other side. Push the pelvis forward just to deepen that stretch. And then just give the legs a little bit of a shake. Now, some of you, and this is when the band comes really handy. In Pilates, we tend to breathe laterally. So we breathe into the sides of the rib cage. So you're going to grab your band. If you don't have your band, just pop your hands on your ribs like this and do the same movement that I'm going to do. You're going to wrap the band round the back of the rib cage, kind of just below the shoulder blades. And you're going to hold onto the band. You're going to cross it in front of the body, and you're going to pull it nice and tight across the rib cage. So when we talk about Pilates breathing, you want to have a feeling of, as you breathe in, your lungs expand. So as they breathe in, the band releases, and as you breathe out, the lungs become empty, and then the band tightens. So this is a really good piece of equipment to really train those muscles into learning that Pilates breathing. So if you don't have the band and you've got your hands on your rib cage like this, I want you to, as you breathe in, push your hands out, and as you breathe out, push it back down. Let's just do a couple more like that, because I know there are a few people that do struggle with the breathing because they tend to always breathe in their tummy. So let's just do one more like that. Breathing in, opening out the lungs, and breathing out. Bring it nice and tight. Okay, great. Now, you're going to grab your band. Again, you can do this if you don't have the band. You're going to have your palms facing down with the band in front of the shoulders. Soften the knees slightly. We're going to test what your range is through your shoulders. So this is, again, a very good piece of equipment in terms of feedback of the rest of the body. You're going to lift the arms up, dropping the shoulders from the ears. Open the band as you circle all the way behind the back. Then coming back up, lifting up, open the band, and then back to shoulder height. I'll give you the side version. So, big breath in, big breath out. Notice if you're finding it difficult to get that full range through the circle. Just means there's probably a bit of tightness or something like that happening in the shoulder. Last one, big breath in, big breath out, and then coming back up and releasing the arms back down. Now, open your legs a bit wider than shoulder distance apart. Reach the arms above the head. Again, don't shrug the shoulders to the ears. Relax them from the ears. Open so you get a bit of resistance in the arms, and you're going to do a side bend over. Bend the knees slightly, feel that side stretch, and then reaching up and then closing that band. Again, relax those shoulders. And other side. Open the band, side bend over, soften the knees, stretching the side of the body, and then reaching up nice and tall. And once more each side. Open the band, bending over, and lengthen tall. Close and then open and side bend. And reaching up, bring the arms back down. Circle through the shoulders, getting the blood flow. You can pop the band down to one side for now. And just rolling through those shoulders. Shrug the shoulders up to the ears. And then you're going to bring the shoulders back. Bring the shoulders forward. Back to center and drop them down. And 2 more. Big breath in. Bring it back. Bring it forward, back to center, and dropping through. Last one. Breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, and dropping through. Right, okay, let's go straight into the spine. So we're going to do a few roll downs to warm up. Standing at the side of your mat, feet in parallel, hip distance apart. Big breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to nod the head, roll the shoulders, scoop the abs in, slowly lowering down to that mat. At the bottom, walking the knees, just alternating, loosening up any tension there. And then rolling back up, restacking the spine, noticing any tightness in the spine and lengthening tall. And 2 more, rolling through that spine. Shift the weight into those toes. At the bottom, you can circle the shoulders, circle the arms. And rolling back up, restacking and lengthening tall. Last one, really getting that lovely flow through the spine. Big breath in and then breathing out. Squeeze the sitting bones together, restacking and lengthening up nice and tall. Right, grabbing your band. Again, if you don't have one, don't worry. We're going to go into what we call the spine twist. So it's really important. I'm just going to show you the side version actually, because it's a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. So you want to kind of shift your bum a little bit so you're sitting onto the front of the sitting bones. So it's easier to get a straight back. If you kind of curved underneath you, it's harder to get that lift up. So for those of you who have the bands, you can do this without the band, so that's fine. But the band's just very good for feedback. Okay, so you're going to have the band across the back of the rib cage again. And you're going to have the arms nice and straight out to the side. So you want your shoulders in line with your hips, nice straight spine. So don't curve into that spine. This is when the band is really useful because it pushes you into a lovely posture. Then spine twist, you're going to go twist, twist a little bit further, back to center. Breathe out, and center. And open, center. So you're just pivoting around the spine with the rib cage. If you're doing it in a slouched position, as you can see, I'm going to cause more strain through the back. You want to get those postural muscles. If it's easier, bend your knees slightly to get into a better position. And we're going to go twist, center. Breathe out, breathing in. Keep that length through the spine. Notice if one side's easier to do than the other. And last one each side. Breathe out, breathe in. Breathe out, breathing in. And then just give yourself a bit of a break if you need to. Now we're going to go into saw. So I'll demonstrate the exercise first. You're going to rotate around, then reaching for the outside of the opposite leg. Other hand reaches behind you and back to center. Other side, rotate, reaching back, and then lengthening tall. So getting into position. Again, if you struggle to do it with straight legs, you can bend your knees slightly. You're going to rotate around, reaching through, other hand reaches behind you, and then back to center. Rotate and leaning forward. Keep both sitting bones on the floor. And rotate, lengthen through, and reaching up, and breathing out, and lengthening up. Once more each side. Reach that arm behind you. back to center, rotate, lengthen through, and then back to center and bring those legs together. Pop the band to one side, give those legs a little bit of a shake. Okay, now you're going to make sure you've got enough space behind you on your mat. We're going to go into some pelvic tilts just to warm up the spine, warm up the lower abdominals. Feet in parallel, hip distance apart. We're going to scoop back, just curving the pelvis underneath you, switching on the abs, relax the shoulders, and then reaching up nice and tall. And we're going to do another 3 like that. Breathing out, scooping back, and breathing in, sitting up tall onto those sitting bones. Get that straight spine. 2 more, and rounding through, and reaching up and lengthen tall. Last one, scooping back and reaching up to the ceiling. Okay, right, now we're going to grab the band and we're going to go into a roll like a ball. Again, if you don't have the band today, that's all right. You can still do it without. If you do have the band, you're going to pop the band underneath the feet. And you're going to hold on to, as you can see, the pink band is held next to my legs. You're going to scoop back, picking both legs up into tabletop. If you don't have the band, either you can put your arms out to the sides or you can hug onto the back of those legs. Then as you breathe in, you're going to roll onto the shoulders and breathing out. So the band is holding you into that ball shape. Breathing in onto the shoulders, breathing out onto the sitting bones. Let's do another 5 like that. So getting into position, round the spine. The more curve you get, the more fluid the movement. Legs should always be close to the sitting bones. And breathing in, little massage for the spine. And another 3 more. Rounding through. Keep your elbows lifted. And another 2. Last one. And then holding and balancing in that position for 10, 9, round that spine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and then slowly releasing back down over those legs. Okay, I just need a sip of water, so if you want to ask any questions or if you have a moment to have some water too, now's the time. So I apologize. Oh, wow. Super refreshing. Okay. Now, I'm going to demonstrate the next exercise. If you're finding that it's too much load on the back, because the abs are maybe not as strong as they want to be, not should be, want to be, then I want you just to go and pick one leg up, alternating each side. You're going to do 6 each side. Otherwise, we're going to attempt, because this is really good to do with the band. You can also, again, do these without the band. You're going to scoop back, pick the legs up into tabletop. Have a look at me first. Now, make sure you're holding the band tight. Then you're going to lower the legs down and then lift them back up. So you really want to push into the band and pick it back up. Arms stay in the same position. That's it. And reaching up. So getting into position, legs in tabletop, band underneath the feet. If you don't have the band, just straighten your arms next to the legs. And you're going to breathe out, breathing in. And that's it. Another 4 more. 1. Keep the legs bent. 2. Breathing in to go down, breathing out to lift up. And 4. 5, and then slowly releasing off that band a little bit there. Excuse me. Okay, so keeping the band underneath the feet, we're going to go into the roll back. Legs are glued together, feet are flexed, big breath in to prepare. Then again, you can do this without the band. You're going to scoop back 1 vertebra at a time, holding onto that band, lying onto the back. big breath in. And this is when it's really handy to have a band, because it helps you to come up into a nice position. I know sometimes people, when they come up, they kind of 1, 2, 3 up and come and jolt themselves up. So the band's actually a really useful piece of equipment to help give you that support that you need. If you don't have a band for this particular exercise, you can actually use a long towel or something like that too. So let's roll back through one vertebra at a time, getting onto that mat. Big breath in, lift the head, lift the shoulders, look into the belly button, coming up and sitting tall. And 2 more, rolling through the spine, warming up the abs, loosening the spine, coming back up, looking into those legs and sitting tall. Last one, coming one vertebra at a time, then bend the legs, pick the legs up, reaching up to the ceiling. Now, nice straight legs. Again, if you're one of those people that struggles to keep the legs up, holding them up to the ceiling, this is a really good piece of equipment to get that support before, so you can get a little bit more strength to do it. So your arms are going to be on the floor holding the band. If you don't have a band, then just have your arms by your side. Now you're going to do leg circles. So you're going to breathe in, leg circle away from the body, breathing out, bring it back. And we're going to do 6 like that. Make the circle as big as you can, control it with the abdominals. Make sure you're not compensating in the back. Keep the elbows locked to the floor. If you don't have the band, you're doing this movement with your arms on the mat either side of you. And then we're going to change direction. So we're working those lower abs, massaging the lower back into the floor. And we're going to do another 4 more. Breathing in, breathing out. And really pushing into that band. And this is when the flexibility of the band is really useful, because you can really extend that range. And then bending those legs, take the band off and pop your legs down to the floor. Now, legs in parallel, let's give them a little bit of a stretch. So we're going to tilt the pelvis, lift the pelvis, opening up those hips, switching on the glutes. Then picking one leg up to tabletop, reach it up to the ceiling, flex the foot, lower to shin height, lift back up. So if you're not sure, just have a look at me first. Leg comes to the ceiling, flex the foot, you're going to lower to shin height, lift back up. Breathing out, breathing in, making sure the other leg is staying beautifully aligned with the ankle. And let's do 2 more. Last one, and then lower that leg. Check your pelvis is level, other side, and lifting the leg up to the ceiling and lower to shin height. Lift to the ceiling, breathing out, breathing in, and another 4, 3, 2, 1. And release back down, ripple to the mat, hug the legs into the chest and get a nice little stretch there. Hands on the knees, feet stay together, and you're going to circle the legs around, loosening up those hips. Change direction, circling in the other direction. Okay, feet down onto that floor. Now, we're going to go into some abdominal work. So if you have any questions, if anything doesn't feel right, just let me know during the session. Hands come behind the head. Shoulders are relaxed away from the ears. Elbows come up into your sideline view. In this position, push your tailbone heavy. So you've got a natural little gap underneath that lower back, but your rib cage is still on the floor. And we're going to curl up onto that abdominal platform, lifting the shoulder blades off the mat. Picking one leg up to tabletop, pick the other leg up to meet it. And we're going to open leg to the side, close it back. Make sure you've got that connection through the rib cage and center. Then straighten one leg forward, bend it back, breathing out, breathing in, and release down. That counts as one set. We're going to do 5 sets. If you want a bit of a challenge, don't have a break between each set on the floor. Just stay up. But remember, lock into those ribs. Right, let's go a little bit more while I just tie up my hair. It's all over the place. Okay, right, so legs up in tabletop. Curl up nice and high so that you're locked into the rib cage, and we're going to do bent knee fallout and close. Breathing out, breathing in, and keep going. Open. Sorry, I forgot to do the leg extension. Straighten, bend it back. Straighten, bend it back, and open. Close. Breathing out. Breathing in, curl up a bit higher as you straighten the leg, bend back, straighten and bend and open. Close, check that stability of the pelvis. As you straighten the leg, curl up nice and high. Keep the support for the weight of the leg. And open. Close. Keep that locked connection into the abdominals. Breathing out, breathing in. And last set. Open. Close. Open. Close and lengthen. Release. Lengthen, release, and release back down to that mat. Should feel a really nice deep connection there through those abdominals. Okay, now we're going to add a lot of load in the upper abdominals, and we're going to keep the legs down because this is about technique as well as just working the abs. So you can grab your band again. Again, if you don't have a band, you don't have to worry, you can still do the exercise. So we're going to start with the hands up to the ceiling, keeping the legs onto the floor. You want to have your neutral pelvis again, so that feeling of releasing into the mat. Then big breath in to prepare. You're going to lift up into an ab curl, locking into the rib cage. So your arms are kind of diagonally up to the ceiling. Have a look at me first. Then you're going to, just like we did before, you're going to lift up, open the band, circle around the head, and then coming up. So breathing in, breathing out, and reaching up. Make sure as the arms are coming above the head, you're not dropping down onto the floor. Okay? I want you to keep up with those shoulder blades so you're always locked into the abdominals. So when you bring the hands above the head, you're really going to feel that load and feel those abs working hard. So let's go into that position. We're going to do 5 circles in each direction. So big breath in to prepare. And if you want a bit of arm movements as well, you can pull the band out so you get a bit of resistance there too. So big breath in to prepare. Breathing out, curling up onto your abdominal platform. Now you're going to open the band and you're going to circle the arms. 1. Breathing in, breathing out. And 2. Keep that lift into your abdominals. And 5. Change direction and circle through. 2. 3. 4. Open that band. 5. And releasing back down to that mat. Right, now we're going to go and do a little bit of arm movements again. This is when the resistance of the band is quite good for working the arms. But again, if you don't worry, you can still do the arm movements without. We're going to go into dead bugs. So it's supposed to look like a dead beetle on its back. Okay, so legs up in tabletop, hands up to the ceiling. Big breath in to prepare. Let's just to get comfortable in this position, we're going to keep the head down. And we're going to straighten one leg as we open the band. And then close it back. Other side. Breathing out. Breathing in. And another 2 each side. Just to get used to that movement For those of you with neck issues, this is a really good alternative to lifting the head. Okay, now we're going to get a little bit more into those abs by curling up. So, same movement. We're going to open and close. Breathing out, breathing in. Again, always keeping shoulder blades off the floor. And open, close. Keep that abdominal connection. And let's do another 2 each side. Lift up nice and high. And breathe out, breathe in. Once more each side. And last one. Whoops, knocked the microphone. And then release back down. Hopefully you didn't get a crazy crackle in the ear there. Right, you can hug your legs into the chest, just releasing a little bit there through the back. Last exercise, we're going to do a holding exercise. Now, I want you to think about, in this movement, I want you to think about how you set up in your abdominals. So just for a little bit to spice things up, I'll do it from this side first. So you want to always think about your connection of the rib cage when you're doing your abdominal work. If you're arching, just like if you're walking around with an arched back, you're going to start to feel a lot of strain in the back muscles because you need those abs. Keep the ribs locked into place. They should always be in line with those hip bones. That applies to whatever position you're lying inside, on your back, standing, because it just brings the spine into its correct alignment, okay? And then when we add the legs, you're adding loads. So play around with the height, because we're going to be holding a position. You'll soon start to realize if your legs are too low to the floor or there's too much load. So if you need to lift them up a bit higher. So legs come up into tabletop, hands come behind the head, big breath in to prepare. Curling up onto that abdominal platform, lifting the shoulder blades off the mat. Flex the feet. Then you're going to glide the legs out and you're going to hold it for 10 seconds. Be aware of your rib cage connected to the floor. Shoulder blades off the mat. Holding for another 4 seconds. 3. Keep breathing. Lateral breathing. Pilates breathing. And then drawing the legs back in. The giant leg of 2 legs joined to 1. Okay, so we're going to do 2 more sets like that. So play around with the load. So the lower the load, the higher the legs, and you can start just progressing closer to the floor, if that makes sense. Big breath in to prepare. Curling up onto that abdominal platform, locking the ribs, getting that nice setup. Then adding the load with the legs, holding for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and draw the legs back in. Okay, last set. Big breath in. Remember also, if 10 seconds is too much and you start losing that connection, just do what your limitations are. So even if it's 5 seconds, that's fine as long as the technique is right. Curling up onto that abdominal platform. Flex the feet. Glide the legs, holding there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and draw the legs in. Straighten the legs along the mat, arms above the head, stretching across those abdominals, getting that lovely release. And then bringing the arms back down to that mat. Okay, right, grabbing your bands, turning around. Let's work the back muscles now. So, if you have the band, again, you can do this without the band. You can pop the band across the back of the legs. So we're going to work the arms as well as the back muscles, and we're going to do some glutes as well. So, imaginary ice cube underneath your belly button. So it's a feeling of lifting the abdominals and tilting the pelvis so that you anchor your pubic bone to the mat. Hover the arms off the back of the legs. Lift up into a nice flying fish position. check your posture. Always check your posture before you do any exercise. Then you're going to open the band, close the band, breathing out, breathing in, and another 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then releasing back down. Let's do 2 more sets like that. Abs engaged. Exhale, switching on the back muscles. Then working into the arms for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and releasing back down. Okay, and last set. Abs engaged. Big breath in and hovering up. Keep the band off those legs. Open 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release back down to that mat. Wriggle the pelvis from side to side, and then we're going to go into some leg movements now. So what I want you to do is bend your legs, open the knees nice and wide, flex the feet and bring the heels together. Have a look at me first if you're not sure of the movement. Abs engaged, you're going to hover up, just like the previous exercise. If you have the band, you're going to open the band to work into the arms. Then breathing out, you're going to lift the thighs, switching the glutes on, release the thighs back down, and close the band. Okay, we're going to do 6 like that. So keeping the arms lifted, open the band, lift the legs, hold, and release back. And another 5, 4, breathe out, breathe in, 3, feel those glutes working, 2, last one, holding it there, and release back down. Pop the band to one side, sitting back over those legs, reversing that curve, stretching the arms in front, getting a lovely little stretch. Breathing into it. Okay, right. Now, bless you. There was a bug on the wall that sneezed, let's just say that. Okay, right. Now, you're going to take your band and just have a look at me first, because it might seem a bit like I'm this weird contorted person, but actually everyone should be able to do this, hopefully. Okay, you're going to bend one. Actually, let's do it like this. You're going to bend one of your legs like this. You're going to pop the band underneath your bottom. So you've got a nice little anchor point for that movement, okay? Other hand is going to be holding the band down. And you're just going to get your legs a little bit further out. Okay, holding the band again. You can do this without the band. But we're going to go into a side lift. So we're going to place the hand down onto the floor, making sure that you've got a nice lift of the chest to start. Just have a look at me first. You're going to push your hand into the floor, lift up through the chest, and you're going to lift the pelvis off the floor and reach the arm up to the ceiling. Coming into like a side plank and then releasing back down. So don't worry that it's not under the glutes. We'll do a different exercise after this. Big breath in, and we're going to lift up, coming into a side plank. So you should feel the band will come behind the shoulder blades, and then releasing back down. So I noticed as I was coming up that my shoulder was a little bit far away from the wrist. If you find that happens, make sure you come back closer, because it's really important that when you come up, you've got the alignment of the wrist and shoulder, so you're not putting unnecessary strain on the shoulder joint. And then releasing back down. Let's go over to the other side, just to give the wrist a little bit of a break. So the bottom leg is bent, top leg is in front with the heel on the floor. In this position, so you usually start like this, so it's actually called a mermaid. So you're going to come up into your full mermaid or side plank, some people refer to it as. Balancing there, switching on the waistline, lifting the pelvis, and then bend the legs coming back down. And 2 more. Breathing out to lift up. And breathing in to release back down. And last one, reaching up to the ceiling. And then releasing back down. Okay, now we're going to go into the mermaid stretch. Really good stretch to do. Your front leg is going to be bent. Your back leg is also going to be bent, but with the foot behind you. Shift your weight a bit so you're in a nice straight as posture as you can get. And this, we're going to have the bum over that band. So we've got a nice little bit of connection there. So holding onto the ends of the band, again, you can do this without a band. You're going to lift the one hand up and then side bending over, coming onto the elbow with the other arm, stretching through and then reaching up. Then we're going to go to the other side. So hand lifts up, stretching through. My band's a little bit short, so I've got to hold onto it really tight. And then reaching up nice and tall. I'm just going to get right to the ends of that band. And let's come up and over to the other side, stretching through. And then reaching back up. And once more on the other side, really getting that nice release. And then reaching up tall. Right, now change the legs the other way, still keeping your bum on that band. Now, big breath in, and then breathing out, coming down, stretching over, and then reaching up tall, and then lift. So again, this gives you a nice bit of arm resistance and a bit of deeper feedback with the band, and then reaching tall. And once more each side. Nice strong wrist as you come up and over, so you're not putting any strain in the wrist joint. And then reaching up. And last one, lift up, working the arms and then stretching the side. And then lengthening up, come off the band and just pop it to one side out of your way. Right, let's quickly finish up with a little bit of side lying. I want to just go into the waistline a little bit more, seeing as we've stretched it out quite nicely now. It's no point in wasting that extra flexibility. Let's get those muscles strong. So we're going to start with the hand up to the ceiling. If you know you're a little bit wobbly, just pop your hand down on the floor. And we're going to hover the top leg up to hip height. Squeeze the bottom leg to meet it, so you're balancing on those hip bones, keeping the rib cage on the floor. Now, big breath in. You're going to lower both legs to the mat, lift both legs up. So you're really working into the waistline, contracting the muscles as you lift the legs and releasing. And breathing out, breathing in. And another 8, 7, 6. Abs draw in as you lift up. Remember how I talked about the rib cage alignment? Make sure the ribs are in line with those hips. And another 3, because I've lost count as usual. 2 and 1. Hold it there. One leg forward, one leg back, and change. Change. Again, if you're feeling a bit wobbly, you can pop your hand down on the floor. And we're going to change our foot position. So if you had pointed toes, you're going to flex the feet or vice versa. And another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it there. Top hand reaches onto the top hip. And then you're going to slide forward and back. So forward, I mean actually up and to the side. Reaching towards the hand and back. And another 4. Keep those legs apart. Keep both of them off the mat. And 2. Abs drawing in. And last one, holding it there. Get that lift off the floor if you can. 5 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. And releasing back down. Bend the top leg and give it a bit of a smack and a rub there. Okay, let's move over to the other side. Legs along the mat, bottom hand underneath the head, abs drawing into the spine. As you look down, you should be able to see your toes. Top hand to the ceiling. If you need the support, hand on the floor. Top leg hovers up, bottom leg meets it. Check again, hold a position to find out if you need to tweak the position. So you should not feel it in the back, just in the abs, legs, and in the waistline. And you're going to do double leg lift. So you're going to lower the legs, lift the legs, breathing in, breathing out. And another 8. Notice how this side compares to the other. Hopefully you feel pretty even across both sides, but you may find one side's a little bit stronger than the other, easier to stay in alignment. It's perfectly normal. Don't worry, we'll work towards getting that symmetry. And last one, you're going to hold it there. Then one leg forward, one leg back, and change. Scissor legs. Change. Change. And change. And now we're going to change the foot position. Feel the different sensation through the legs as you do that. And another 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it there. Top hand onto the hip and sliding into the waistline and release back down. And 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one, hold it there. If you can get the bottom rib cage off the floor, that's great, but feel it in the waistline. Another 2 seconds. Last second, and release back down. Bend the top leg in. Give a bit of a rub and a bit of a pitter-patter wherever you need it. Right, because we've unfortunately run out of time, let's get up into a nice standing position. Just to finish up, get ourselves recentered, get our hair straightened out. Thank goodness there's no mirror here, so I don't have to see myself. Okay, feet in parallel, big breath in. And then breathing out, nod the head, roll the shoulders, lowering down to that mat. Being aware of how the spine and how the body feels now, just walking the knees, rolling the shoulders, circle those arms, and then rolling back up slowly and with control. Really understand your body, what's happening in every part of that movement. And then reaching up nice and tall. So we're done for today, and thank you very much for joining in, I guess. And I'll see you all next week.